Carlo McCormick, the curator, and Ethel Seno described what the concept for this exhibition was to me, but it was really hard to visualize it as an experience that people would, walk through and kind of interact with each installation. So when I got here, it was in some ways kind of a complete surprise to see just how high the level was in terms of artistic quality by the other artists. And, once I kind of stepped in, I knew I had to kind of really raise the bar a little bit. The piece that I created here, I had something specific in mind because I knew that the booth would be celebrating the work of Henry Chalfant and Martha Cooper, but it was also there'd be like a timeline from the beginning until now. So I wanted to create something that was very, very much New York. And in talking to the curators, again, Ethel and Carlo, they encouraged me to do something that was really, really New York, to show the origins of where all this kind of began. When I began painting subways, which is basically a moving vehicle for my creativity. And, I think that kind of governed what I put on the side of the train. What I was doing, didn't have to be closely scrutinized because it was always in motion. It was always a destination. It was always either going somewhere or coming from someplace. And, when you're lucky, you'd be able to see, one of your pieces kind of rolling through the station. And that was, to me, was like the ultimate feeling. Because it's like you create a work, and I don't want to really use the term art because at that point, I didn't really know if I was an artist, but I knew that I was creating something that was somewhat positive. I knew I was creating something, but I didn't know if art was the proper term for it. But, I was doing this stuff and it kind of, you create something and you put it out there and it has a life of its own. And even today, kind of when I'm, working in the studio, it's a completely different context. People are scrutinizing you much more and they're scrutinizing the work much more. So you're conscious of that. But yet, if you sell a painting or you put it in an exhibition, it also has a life of its own, because you can control it a little bit, but not entirely, and you certainly can't control people's reactions to what you do. You just hope that they can see something in it. In the 70s and 80s, New York City was kind of in an economic depression. So you could kind of, with that came a lot of crime and instability. So you could kind of do what you wanted to, during those decades. Now we see like this period of, I guess, prosperity and, and growth, but growth in a way that personally I don't really like. There's a lot of development, and I don't think that New York is the most conducive place anymore for this kind of art form. Luckily for us that it's spread worldwide, but having said that, at the same time, it still does exist to some degree in New York City. It still does. It's just changed now. It's different. It's a different playing field, but it's not the way it was before.